Welcome again to MedDevice Engineer X. We are continuing another series called Servicing Cardiovascular Equipment. This will be a 7-part series. We're starting from cardiovascular anatomy. Now it's important to study the human body's physiology anatomy before moving on to how monitoring of the body is performed. So we'll have 2 parts in this series. The first part will cover the cardiophysiology and respiratory system, and the second part will concern about the topic of monitoring devices like defibrillation and pacemakers. We'll go over those medical devices more in detail once we've reached that part. So today we're going to go over cardiovascular anatomy. What is the cardiovascular anatomy? So the cardiovascular system anatomy is essentially consists of the heart, and it has 3 primary functions. The 3 functions are transportation, control of body temperature, and protection. Transportation: what is the cardiovascular system transporting around the body? It's transporting 2 substances, oxygen and carbon dioxide. In terms of controlling the body temperature, this is done through vasodilation and vasoconstriction. So for example, when the body is too cold, blood moves towards the skin to cool us down, or when the body is too hot. So this way excess heat can escape easier. With protection, this is the form of our immune system. So blood carries white blood cells, which helps fight diseases, and also platelets. This allows clotting of blood to stop us from bleeding. Next, we'll go over the circulatory loops of the heart. There is 2 primary circulatory loops in the human body: the pulmonary circulation loop and the systemic circulation loop. The pulmonary circulation transports deoxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, where it then picks up the blood, where the blood picks up the oxygen and returns it to the left side of the heart. The pumping chambers of the heart that support the pulmonary circulation loop are the right atrium, which is this part here in the diagram, and also the right ventricle. So this pumps blood towards the lungs, which goes through that way, and then which goes back again to the heart through the left atrium. This part is called the systemic circulation, the red part. So this carries highly oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart to all other tissues of the body. Of course, with the exception of the heart and the lungs. The purpose of the systemic circulation is to remove waste from the body tissues and then return that deoxygenated blood to the right side of the heart. The left atrium and the right atrium, the left atrium and the left ventricle of the heart are the pumping chambers for the systemic circulation loop. There's 3 different types of blood vessels in the cardiovascular system, and blood vessels are often linked to the way they're like body's highways. So they transport blood from the heart to various regions of the body and back. So blood vessels comprise of 3 parts, which is the arteries, capillaries, and veins. These vessels play a role in maintaining circulation of blood and ensuring the delivery of oxygen and nutrients. We'll go over each one, where the first one is the artery. So arteries, they're more thicker. They have more thicker walls compared to the other 2. They're very rich in elastic tissue, which allows them to withstand high blood pressure. if it's easier to remember, arteries starts with an A, and the way I remember it, it carries away blood away from the heart. So they carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body tissues. They have smooth muscles in smaller arteries, which regulate the blood flow and pressure. And then, of course, they branch out narrower, which are called arterioles, which connects the arteries to the capillaries, which is this one here. Capillaries, on the other hand, they're the smallest and the thinnest vessels. They connect arterioles to venules. They're found in almost all tissues and allows a facilitation of gas and nutrient exchange. Lastly, we've got the veins. The veins return deoxygenated blood to the heart. They have thinner walls compared to arteries, and they are less elastic and less muscular. How they rely on the movement of blood is through gravity, inertia, and muscle contractions. Unlike arteries, which solely relies on the muscle contraction of the heart. Veins are one-way valves, which means they prevent backflow, and they also aid, and the skeletal muscle contractions aid in the blood movement. This is how blood is transported through veins. Blood vessels, they form a complex network crucial for the body's circulatory system. Just to summarize this part, arteries carry oxygenated blood under high pressure, arterioles regulate the flow, capillaries facilitate exchange, and veins return deoxygenated blood with the help of valves and muscle contractions. Lastly, we'll go over blood composition and functions. The four main parts of the blood is red blood cells, which are also called erythrocytes, white blood cells, leukocytes, platelets, thrombocytes, and lastly, plasma. So human blood cells, the human blood comprises approximately 4 to 5 liters inside the human body, and they're responsible for various responsibilities, like, as we've discussed, transporting substances like oxygen and carbon dioxide to allow gas exchange, and also maintain homeostasis, which we've also discussed for vasodilation and vasoconstriction. But in this slide, we'll specifically focus on the composition and their functions. We'll start from red blood cells. They're the most common blood cell and comprise almost 45% of the human blood. They are normally shaped biconcave. This allows a larger surface area to volume ratio to allow efficient gas exchange. They are produced in the red bone marrow, and their function is to transport oxygen via hemoglobin. Next is white blood cells, leukocytes. They have the smallest percentage in blood, but they're the most crucial for the immune system. There's two types of them, which is granular and agranular. So granular consists of neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. Agranular consists of lymphocytes, monocytes, but we won't go into that much detail with it. Platelets, which are also called thrombocytes, they're responsible for blood clotting and scab formation. They're formed also in the red bone marrow, and they normally survive only up to a week. Lastly, we've got plasma, which is the liquid portion of the human blood, which consists 55%, and they compose of water, proteins, and dissolved substances. Their function is to transport as a transportation medium for glucose, oxygen, nutrients, and waste products. So this concludes our first part of our series, servicing cardiovascular equipment, and next we will go over cardiovascular physiology. Thank you for watching.